Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX. Today we're going to be spectating a Diamond 2 ranked player. This is actually one of my mods, Connor or Flegnut. This is a Diamond Platinum kind of level lobby. So a very similar skill level that probably a lot of you guys watching are in, and a lot of you guys feel stuck in. And so we're going to be watching this, breaking it down and explaining things that they could have done better. So first things first, they're going to call off that they are going to be landing low prison showers here. Definitely there are plenty of good landing spots. The biggest thing that I recommend when you are landing is that obviously you're landing together, and that two, you're landing somewhere 1 to 2 spots very frequently. So you really kind of master those spots, you understand the loot patterns, the rotations, all of that. Now, 2 of them, Connor and then Snooki, they are playing together. They are in Discord together. Their third is a random teammate, but he is able to hear them at least. So definitely one tip that I always give is always, if you can play with a regular team, so you communicate with everyone, we always want to do that. Now, I currently have this on 1.5x speed because this early game ends up being, they're basically just looting. They actually get a completely free drop at prison, which is very rare. And literally what they're going to do is just loot basically until they get almost enough loadout money. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this though is that Connor has kind of gone off by himself, and he has been kind of in the prison area by himself, whereas his 2 teammates have been on the complete opposite side of prison. This is okay if there's nobody around you, which there really wasn't. The problem is he very easily could have got kind of like ran up on without hearing them. Gonna get a random guy flying back in here who's gonna get an easy kill on. And as soon as he does, he's gonna get 2 pings. Now it's a little bit hard to see, but both of these have down arrows. So they are down below him, likely down in the showers kind of tunnel area. And he's gonna make that call out. He's a little bit slow on the call out. He goes 2 people in and this is a skill set of a good ranked team, is being able to quickly make those call outs and saying, hey, 2 people showers. So that way your teammates can immediately start rotating over. And you're going to see Snooki in the yellow arrow here. He is going to immediately start looking this way and start kind of providing support. Connor's maybe thinking somebody's going to push this way. He's watching the zip line. He's just kind of playing safe up here. Nothing wrong with this as Snooki rotates over. Now, Snooki is going to get involved in here, and he's going to go get a kill. And Connor's going to come down to help. And I think Connor is a little bit slow in his decision making. He just barely sees this guy here. Gets a few shots on him. He does a good job about not overextending there. Very simple thing he does there, but it actually comes to his advantage, is that when he walks in through here, notice how he's not sprinting through the doorway. He starts to aim his gun right before he comes around the doorway. And that's going to allow him to get just some first easy clean shots on. Ends up being a very simple kill. His third teammate pinged very briefly, kind of the opposite side of prison, and he kind of makes that call out that he was far away. Now at this point, they have 16K, and they need to prioritize getting a loadout down ASAP. There's again a little bit of a delay here where they're kind of still in this loop of they're just kind of looking around, they're looting. They need to be a little bit quicker here. There's no reason for them to keep looting at this point. They need to go get a loadout down ASAP and get that advantage of having their loadout guns, since it is still first circle and since public loadouts have not dropped, so they have that advantage on other teams to win those gunfights. Plus, them being able to get this loadout down before the public loadout gives them a kind of second chance loadout. In case they do die, it's much easier for them to regain. They also have a bounty up. I would recommend generally in Resurgence Ranked to always just be grabbing bounties, even if you're not going to actively go for them, because it's very often that you can get just free bounty poaches. If somebody kills that bounty, you're just going to be getting free income essentially. I'm going to go water tower. So at this point, they need to be a little bit more concise on what their communications are and what their goals are here. Snooki kind of is like, hey, I'm going to go water tower. I'm going to see what's going on. And that's fine. Connor's going to buy a UAV. Love that with that. This is going to give us a lot of information. Basically, there's only one team on this side of the map with them in Chem. Everyone else is on the complete opposite side of the map. So they got a little bit lucky in this early drop of not having to be very contested here. So they're going to focus their energy on these guys at Chem, which I'm totally cool with, because again, these are the closest guys in action. Now, the thing though here is they don't need to overextend for this fight. This is a big mistake a lot of people make in ranked, is they're like, oh, there's a team bias. We have to go fight them. We have to go push them. That is not the case. There is nothing wrong with them just playing this slow, going up here in water tower and kind of just like letting these guys make a mistake. Now their teammate's going to go down. He's down below them. He's going to try to self-res. It looks like the guys from Chem shot over to them. So they're going to just play safe. As soon as you are down a teammate, especially if you're down 2 teammates, you need to be playing ultra safe, and your goal has to be do not wipe. So having one person who kind of designates as that anchor role, who's going to like always try to play safe, avoid dying, is good to have. With randoms, it's going to be hard to have kind of those dedicated, clear defined roles though. But again, they do a good job here initially of slowing down. Connor's going to have some good shots. He gets a knock here. Now, here's the thing though. He's going to end up being like, yo, I think we should push that. This is not a good push. Before this, they have nobody else knocked, and you can see there are 3 pings on the minimap. Their teammate is still down, so this is still, at best, a 2v2 situation. It is an even 50-50, and they have to fly in and push in. Plus, this guy likely might have a self-revive. He could easily revive, and by the time he gets there, he's up, and then it's back to a 3v2. Connor is like, screw it, I'm going. Now, at a minimum, at least Snooki is going to stay back and kind of play this anchor role. Connor's going to go in, and he's going to... This is the guy that I think he downed, and he... Actually, you know what? That was a different guy. The other guy did not have a self-revive. And then Snooki actually downed the third guy that was flying in. So they end up getting lucky there. In all honesty, they end up wiping this team, but it was still a very high risk push. Now I will add, again, this is a like platinum diamond level lobby, so it's a decently skilled lobby, but you cannot get away with mistakes like that once you are getting into the Crimson and Iridescent. If this was a Crimson Plus lobby, you would have almost for certainly got absolutely fried as soon as they heard that parachute coming over, because teammates would have been looking for them to make that push as soon as you had downed one. Regardless, they end up doing okay. They end up getting out of that. They end up wiping a team. So good job. Now from here, from the previous UAV, they know that nobody's really around them. And so Connor does have a UAV in his pocket. And at this point, they need to be prioritizing taking a power position and taking high ground where they can hold. They know that nobody's on kind of behind them, most likely. There were, I think, maybe a team that pinged down around the harbor area. So at this point, I would 100% be looking to go top prison and start working over towards the HQ side so that they can start getting kind of free picks. At this point, Connor's got 4 kills. I think Snooki has like 2 or 3. Their random has like 1 or 2. They want to start picking up those free kind of easy kills and start padding their SR. But the key to this is they want to try to take kind of easy kills. Now, during this whole process, again, they're being very slow about, they do pick up a bounty, which again, I like that idea, but they're being very, very slow about getting into a good position when they could have been over on the other side of prison by now and trying to get in the action and kind of, you know, get kills from people flying back in, things like that. Connor's going to pop his UAV. He's got 4 people on the other side of prison with all down arrows, it looks like.
3 below, yeah.
So he's going to start pushing over there. Actually, one of these guys is up on his level. Now, the one thing that I really do like to have what Connor's doing here is he's going to do a good job of playing off of cover. He's not going to just like run forward like an idiot here and just, you know, run out into the open. He's going to go up to the AC unit and he's going to play behind it. He's kind of taking his time, seeing if he can push. Love that he pushes up and takes another angle. Snooki's on the far right. I think his teammate is maybe below them, which isn't ideal. You'd want the teammate to be kind of up with them. But he's going to try to take a better angle here. This guy is going to make a mistake. Connor does hit fantastic shots here on this guy. Maybe could have mounted and made it even a little bit easier, but he hits great shots. He's going to get that down, and I think he ends up getting that finish. He does. Again, looking at the minimap, we've got, you know, several people on the other side, several people floating in. They're going to hit great team shots here and get it down. And again, this is where I love holding top prison. This is what my team and I do when we are playing ranked, because when we hold prison, you can end up getting so many kind of just free kills of people landing back in, trying to regain, and you can kind of just pad your SR. The only downside to holding top prison is that it is a highly contested spot. A lot of teams want to be up here. Now, one thing to note is Connor's got throwing knives on. You should not be running throwing knives in ranked. Absolutely would be better to be running, especially if they're going to play like this strategy and hold prison, something like spring mines, blast straps, or at a minimum, something like, you know, Semtex Raider or something like that.
They push up.
So Connor had some information, had some pings back here. He's looking back this way to see if he can see anyone. Now, here's what I don't necessarily like about this is he is now kind of pushing off by himself, completely solo. He is cut off from his teammates where they're not going to be able to help him. And he's losing that element of having his teammates and having numbers on his side. So he's trying to see if there's anybody in here, trying to play slow and whatnot. And he's doing an okay job of kind of, you know, centering, kind of sliding around and seeing. Doesn't seem like anybody's in here. But again, I don't think this is worthwhile for him to take his time away from the roof. It's much more worthwhile for him to stay up on the roof and potentially get some of those kind of like easy free kills. He's still searching around when, bam, this guy is hiding in the corner, slides out and kind of slams him, okay? And again, this was a kill or a death that could have easily been avoided because he didn't need to go off on his own and chase and search for a guy that could have been hiding and camping. He could have just stayed on the roof and kind of camped it out with Snooki and or his third teammate. Now, this is spectating Snooki. Snooki gets it down, doesn't realize there's a second player, ends up going down. But guess what? If Connor had stayed up there and they just held prison, Connor would have been available to probably get that trade and probably kill this guy because Snooki got him basically one-shot, cracked his armor. So now, thank goodness their third teammate is alive and he had just spawned back in. Also, good thing that because they got their loadout down early, they now have a second loadout to land back on and kind of make an easy regain here. Now, I don't like how Connor just full sends it onto the loadout. I would have much preferred he would have pulled his chute, looked around for at least a few seconds, and got a quick gauge to see if anybody was down there before he just full sends it. Luckily, nobody is down here. We're able to get the loadout. He's going to immediately kind of go down to harbor. Also, we have a fire sale. Now, another thing that I tend to tell people is that the fire sale always hits at the beginning of third circle, and you should be looking for that, and you should be looking to go to a buy station and take advantage of that. Refresh and get your self-revive. Self-revives are totally free during the fire sale. And then ideally, pop an advanced UAV with 3 UAVs. Now, Connor's going to pick up a free kill with a guy trying to land in there. He also looted a huge bag of money and got pretty lucky there. So he's going to buy some UAVs here. So he pops one is immediately on him. This guy's already, or it looks like this guy got downed by somebody else. I think Snooki might have downed him. They're going to pick up that kill. Now on the UAV, he's going to see he has one enemy who is back here at Chem. And he's going to make the call out and he's going to say, hey, there's one guy at Chem. We can hold him. And this is smart. He's on the edge of zone. They know that zone's coming to them, but they have another like minute to 2 minutes until that zone's going to fully close in. So this is a long hold. And I will say, playing down here at Harbor, I don't love. Harbor is a tricky spot to be in because it's downhill from everything. Top prison can shoot you, Chem can shoot you, Nova can shoot you. You're in kind of a spot where a lot of people can look down on you. So what I would be doing here is I would be trying to prioritize and taking up to a more power position, a little bit more high ground, and at least getting up here to the edge of prison, or ideally even getting to top prison if they could. So he's holding it. Again, I like this idea. I like the idea of him trying to hold, use zone to his advantage and whatnot. He then decides, okay, maybe try to get a better position. I love this. However, when he gets up here, he picks a tree to use as his cover. The problem with this tree is even if he gets perfectly behind it, there is a good chance that this guy can still kind of like shoot his feet, that kind of thing. Instead of, if he would have went a little bit farther to the shed, up to the half wall, he would have had much, much better cover to fight off of. And he's going to hit decent shots. He cracks his armor, but then he runs back down to the right. Instead of running up to the left, he probably would have been better to get behind that. Now, again, he's putting himself in a low ground position, not nearly as powerful to hold for the next rotation. However, he does recognize, though, and maybe part of his rotation was he recognized he was out of plate, so he's going to go down, plate back up, grab a UAV as well. He's going to look to see if he can get up there. Again, he's kind of keeping his eye on these guys, sees one rotating, pops the UAV. Now, it is a full team. There are 3 red arrows over here. So he's going to try to get back up. Again, now he's getting held, and now he's stuck down here again. Like I said, if he would have stayed up top, he would have had a much better position. And same with his team. One of them needed to make the call out, hey, we need to get up the prison and take a better position. Now, they're going to get a knockdown here. Looks like Snooki gets on the walk, and they end up getting kind of lucky here. They end up being able to knock that team. But again, if this was a higher level lobby, if this was a Crimson Iridescent team, that team would have been far harder to kill, and they would have not made those mistakes and got held there at Chem. So finally, they are going to get their way up to prison. And again, Connor's he's on 8 kills. He's having a good game. Things are rolling. You know, they're going into the end game. They all have their loadouts. They're in a good situation here, okay? So they're going to go back up, take top prison, and then when they recognize that somebody is up here. Now, Connor's going to mount up, take his time, and he's going to hit great shots. Again, having just good aim and being able to take advantage of when you get a clean shot is huge. However, somebody else is up here, and they're holding both him and Snooki.
On the Addy.
This guy, I'm not sure, maybe got res, not sure if he was able to. Snooki makes a call and he says, hey, let's dip. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, especially since their third teammate was not up there. If their third teammate was up there and they could have made it a 3v2 situation, I think fighting to take top prison would have been extremely valuable there. And that is the downside of when you are playing with randoms. You're not going to have as clear of communication, and you're not going to be able to play together as a team as much as you would like. Because again, at the end of the day, taking a team that is maybe like a diamond level team, but if they play together phenomenally, they can beat, a not well disciplined Iridescent team any day of the week. This is ranked is a team game at the end of the day, so it's huge. So because of top prison being contested, they're going to elect to rotate through kind of low prison here, which again, I'm totally cool with. What I don't like is that they're not sticking together and playing with their numbers. Connor's going to get way up ahead by himself. Snooki's kind of lagging behind a little bit. Their third teammate's really lagging behind. And Connor starts to hear people, I think. There was a flash. There's two. He gets really weak. He's going to try to run away and start plating, which, you know, did a good job. Now his teammates have came up to help him. He's trying to just play slow here, pre-aim. Snooki gets a knock. He's going to look to take high ground, which I like this. Teammate is pinging kind of back this direction, so Connor's going to go start looking. Again, I like that he's playing from the high ground of the second floor here, just playing slow. They're relatively close to each other, holding different angles. Okay, Snooki and the other teammate are going to get that last kill and wipe a team. Now, they realize that they can clearly see that there are pings above them. So people are above them on top prison, the team that they were just fighting a little bit earlier. But they're safe in here, kind of low prison. Connor also does have a cluster.
I might just mortar our roof and then rotate.
And so he's going to mortar himself, which is going to force that team above, likely to kind of come into that little like top room in the corner of the stairs, which is a smart move. But Connor doesn't clearly communicate what he was doing here. So he says, I'm going to mortar and just rotate. Rotate where? And so a better comm would have simply been, hey, I'm going to mortar us. Then we're going to rotate immediately to HQ and turn around and hold these guys. So Connor does that, but Snooki misinterpreted that. And he thought he meant we're going to rotate up and we're going to push up.
You rotated. I didn't know you were rotating.
And so Snooki's like, I didn't know you rotated. Now,
yeah, I thought you were gonna
again, these guys, I don't know how they let a cluster kill them.
I knocked one.
But he's going to get a knock and a finish somehow. So now he's in a good spot. He's going to get, and he's going to take a really powerful position up here to start turning around and potentially hold these guys. However, he doesn't realize that there is two people right here in front of him. And these guys are going to turn. They're just going to hit good shots and fry him. Connor absolutely missed a lot of shots there. He absolutely was in a position that he could have won that gunfight. That is just a kind of a 50-50 gunfight that he ended up losing because of not hitting ideal shots. Snooki has also gone down in this process, and then their third teammate is way up here. So again, they kind of separated. Instead of them having a clear like goal of what they were doing, if they all three would have rotated and took the top of HQ and looked over, they easily could have held these guys out, but instead they kind of all separated and all went down in 1v1s. Now they are able to revive. Okay, Connor, he's going to get plated back up. I don't like how he just immediately turns and doesn't even look behind him. He has a hold still, right? He can turn and get a quick peek and try to kind of re-knock one of these guys. Instead, he just runs. He's going to get fried in the process because he never turned around. And now he's kind of like in panic mode here, okay? He's going to play it up, get situated here. Snooki does get a knock, and he's trying to look back and see. But the problem is now he is kind of caught in a sandwich here. Zone is pushing to Nova. Zone is behind him, and he knows there's a team behind him. You already know there's going to be at least one team holding top Nova. That is like the clear power position in this end zone. And because they were so slow and uncoordinated about trying to deal with this team behind him, they've now given up the idea of being able to rotate. In all honesty, what I have learned to be most successful is in these end game situations, don't worry too much about holding out one team. You should 100% prioritize getting to that power position. So instead, what they could have done is if we go back a little bit, when he mortared back here, before even getting this fight, they should have just kept going and went all the way to Nova during that. And instead, they kind of all tried to take these fights individually, and you know they make a lot of mistakes here. So he's trying to see. This guy is going to clear over.
I'm just in a bad spot.
He is in a very bad spot. He's fighting from the low ground. So he goes down. Snooki is still up. Their third teammate is going to go down as well. Snooki is able to just barely kind of make it in. And he's kind of just hiding down here. And he's actually has a chance to do something really good here, because he's going to get a very favorable zone pool that's going to pull back up to HQ here. Now, Snooki is a very solid player. He's in a tricky spot. He's down to a solo here. He doesn't immediately see anybody on his roof here. Using the heartbeat sensor, trying to see. Definitely like the idea of just waiting it out, playing slow here. He does have 2 smoke grenades though. So he's going to keep looking. He's trying to see, you know, he understands that his biggest threat is whoever's on the roof of Nova. Sees a guy, he's going to hit some shots. Now at this point, what I would have done, as soon as he realized he didn't get that kill, he has 2 smoke grenades. Zone is starting to already move up, and it's already almost at kind of that wall. I would have immediately smoked just in front of me and smoked another one on the stairwell that goes up to HQ, and just hoped his best to get up here. Because I think he also saw a second person up here. He's in a horrible, horrible spot. That guy has a great heady. He goes down. I think he had a better chance to just not take a fight there, smoke and smoke back up, and then take that power position. The end game is all about who can hold that power position. Is there a little bit of luck involved because of rotations? Absolutely. But he could have done a better job, I think, there. So some takeaways. The biggest things here are going to be, you've got to play more together. If one of your teammate goes down, be able to trade, but also recognize if you do go down, you're outnumbered, slow down so that you guys don't get wiped. You don't have those big SR loss games. And then in the end game, got to do a better job of prioritizing getting to that power position. Again, playing together. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I have lots of other videos breaking down ranked, how to get better at it. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, come check out our stream here on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next one.